Hi, my name is Olivia Larson, and I am going to dedicate my tribute speech to my grandmother, Martha, because she was such an inspiration to me at such a young age. She was such an encouraging figure and a good example, and always taught me how to appreciate life, even in the hardest of times. I remember growing up at such a young age, she would read the Bible with me and my sister and my brother and all of my cousins, and she taught us how to love, and she was such a good example of Jesus to us small children. She would take us to Sunday school and to church, and always required that we brought our best church attire when we would come to see her. So we always got dressed up for church. And I remember she was always such an active member in the church, and not only in the church but in the community. She was such a friend to everyone, and everyone knew who she was. She was loved by so many, and she was such an inspiration to the type of woman that I would want to be. And just watching her as I was growing up, she was such an amazing woman, and me talking about her doesn't do her justice to the type of lady she was. Her love for people was so unconditional, and she had such a heart for everyone. It didn't matter who they were, where they came from, the type of person they were, if they were poor or rich, it didn't really matter. She opened her arms and her home to them, and I remember constantly in the summers that I would spend with her, we would have tons of visitors, and these are visitors from all over the world, people that she would meet abroad or on mission trips, people that she met on her trips in her RV, and just people that were in the community that she loved and loved talking to and getting to know, and they'd come and have a cup of coffee. Sometimes they would stay the night and be on their way the next day. But I got to meet so many people that she touched and so many people that she loved, and it made me love her even more for the type of person she was. And she was such a people person, and that's kind of how I am. And I've been people have told me that I remind them of her, and that is probably one of the biggest compliments I've ever gotten, is that my demeanor and the way I am with people is the way she was, and that makes me feel like she would be proud of me for the type of person I am. And I remember when I was a kid, when she was still alive, I was kind of young, obviously, and I was immature, and I fought with my brothers and my sisters, and she always taught me how to love them, even if they were annoying or we would pick on each other. And I remember that my life completely changed the summer of 2003. That spring, she was diagnosed with a disease called ALS, which is also referred to as Lou Gehrig's disease. It's a disease that attacks the muscles in the body. Eventually, a person that has Lou Gehrig's disease, the muscles would stop contracting, and you would eventually die. Being the heart as a muscle would be the last one that stops. And there's no cure for this disease, so you deteriorate pretty quickly. And when they found it, she had already had it for a while, and no one had known. And the summer, a week after I spent in camp, my parents decided that it would probably be a good idea that we visit her and take some time to be with her before she passes away. And the 2 weeks that I was supposed to be there ended up becoming a month. And the reason why is because I didn't want to leave. I was helping a hospice nurse take care of her, and every day was a struggle. Every day was something new. I knew of her condition every day. I knew something that she couldn't use anymore, and eventually got to the point where we were doing everything for her. And I remember this memory so vividly, and it's something that I'll always remember. And she would have me read her Bible to her every night and sing Amazing Grace. And to this day, I have a hard time singing that song because it reminds me of her. But it's a good thing because she loved that song so much, and I loved singing it to her. And I don't really sing in front of people because I get self-conscious, but for her, I would do anything. And those were the memories that I cherished the most, and it was the memories that I got to really see her for the woman she was, just me and her, and it made me want to be just like her. And there's a lesson from that total experience, was that she loved her life even though she was sick, and she still praised God for her life and still thanked Him for everything, and worshipped Him even when she was still sick and hurting and in pain. And that was such an example of the type of relationship she had with God. And it made me realize that we need to give thanks in our hardest of times, even if we think that it's going down a hill. We need to give thanks anyways, and to love, and always to love, and never stop loving, and to appreciate life. Just live it every day like it's your last. And that was such a big lesson, and I still to this day use that as my life quote. And I miss her a lot, and I think of her constantly. And growing up without her, I wondered if she would be proud of me, and now that I think about it, I think of the type of person I am now, and I think she would be proud of who I've become, and I would not change that at all. That experience was a life changer, and although it was one of the hardest things myself and my family had to go through, it was something that we had to go through and we had to learn from. And because of her death, I am who I am now. It's because I had to go through that with her and grow up. And I know that she's always with me every day, even if she's not here physically. She's here watching over me, and she's my guardian angel. And I'm so thankful for the times that I did have with her, and I would never take those memories for granted ever. So, thank you.